Hi, everyone. So for the past few weeks, we've been talking about fear, and today I want to talk about more ways to overcome fear. There's a lot going on right now, and it's kind of crazy because as the days progress, people get a lot more fearful of what's going on in the world. And I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was telling me he goes and has dinner once a week with his parents, and his mother has been watching the news nonstop. And yesterday, the news had her in tears because of everything that is going on and all of the news broadcasts and the journalism and the sensationalism. And I'm not trying to say that what is going on isn't terrifying in any form or fashion. But the thing is, again, and I've mentioned this in a previous broadcast, is that the media, their sole purpose is ad revenue. And the more people they can get to watch the news story, to read their blog, to read their articles, to subscribe to their papers, the more ad revenue they get. So sensationalism sells. And unfortunately, they do a lot of what's called bait clicking, where they put these crazy headlines and they know that it's going to bait you into clicking on the link and reading the article. So what can we do, particularly when you go on social media and it seems like you can't go anywhere on the internet without seeing something about COVID-19? For that, so I have taken a hiatus from Instagram. I actually started in February, and I was just going to go for the month of February, and that was just specifically because I needed to give myself a break from some social media because I was spending too much time on there, and it really wasn't making me very productive. So I decided to take a break for pretty much all of February. And then all this stuff started happening over here in the US. And so I decided to just continue my Instagram hiatus indefinitely until, I don't know, I just decide that I'm going to go back on. Now, unfortunately, I still need to be on social media because I run a business. And in order to connect with my clients and my friends, I have to be where they are, and most of them are on Facebook. So hence here I am. Now, one of the things that I've done, if you use Google Chrome, there is a Chrome extension that you can get it's a newsfeed eradicator. So if you're looking at Facebook on your computer, then it'll take your entire news feed and you won't see it. You'll only see the space for you to actually create a new post, and you'll see a quote, which is actually really nice. I actually installed the newsfeed eradicator because I was tired of seeing all of the sponsored ads, sponsor posts that were coming through. And it was really just kind of gunking up my newsfeed, and I really just got tired of that. So somebody mentioned it to me, the extension, and so I downloaded it, and I've been using it for well over a year, and I love it. It's so nice to be able to just pull up Facebook on my computer and not have to just be bombarded with all this stuff. Now, if I look at it on my phone, I'm sure I could probably find some sort of newsfeed eradicator or something like that for my phone. But right now, I haven't. I do have an app that it's a Chrome. They have a Chrome extension, and there's a desktop application, and then there's also an application that you can download on your phone, both for Android and iOS, called Freedom. And Freedom, you can select certain websites, and it will block you for certain time periods. You select the time period, and once you select it and you start it, you can't stop it. Like if you pick 4 hours, you can't go on those websites for 4 hours. It won't let you until the 4 hours is up. So you can download that. They have a free version, but then they also have a paid version. It's like $50 a year, which really isn't a terrible amount of money. And you can just select the sites that you spend the most significant amount of time on, and it will keep you from being able to go to those sites, because it becomes addictive, this habit of checking and seeing. Like, I live in Michigan, and so every day I know they update the COVID-19 numbers for the state of Michigan at 3:00. So every day I find myself on Google, like, what is whatever, and like what has, how many people are confirmed, how many people have died. Unfortunately, Detroit is considered a hotspot, currently 4th in the nation. And it's very concerning because I'm from Detroit. I know a lot of people in Detroit. I've got family and friends in Detroit. I went to school in Detroit. I lived in Detroit for a really long time. I love spending time down there. And so, for a city that's gone through so much in the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years, it's really sad to see, just how bad it is for them down there. But I have to break myself, break the cycle of addiction with going and trying to find these numbers out. So fear, again, we have all these people, oh, the pandemic, and then you go to the stores and there's no toilet paper and you can't find any pasta, and there's, like, people are running out of everything, and you get all these people that are panic buying everything. And it's because they're trying to control something. They're trying to control something in their world. And unfortunately, I have a cat that's climbing up the couch. Buying, things that they know that other people want is a form of control. So saying, oh, there's like 3 rolls of toilet paper left, so I'm going to take those 3 rolls of toilet paper and no one else can have them. It's a form of control. And you're giving in to the panic. You're giving into the fear. So instead of letting something like that, instead of letting the media control you and, make you give in to the fear, choose things that that you can control. You can't control what the media says. I mean, I was telling a friend of mine on Facebook the other day, she was complaining about CNN reporting something, and I was like, why? Number one, if you really don't like what they have to say, why are you watching? And number two, they're going to say what they're going to say. You can't stop them. But what you can do is you can not watch it, you can ignore it, you can do something else, you can choose to do something more productive with your time. I named my company Mindful Shift because I want people to understand what mindfulness truly is and the benefits of mindfulness. And finding something that you're focusing on that's negative. There's something that you're focusing on that's negative that is causing you stress. It's causing you anxiety. It's causing you worry. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe your husband lost his job. Maybe your wife lost her job. Maybe everybody in your family lost their jobs. Maybe you're tired of being at home and your kids are driving you crazy. I know a ton of people who are stuck at home with their kids and their kids are driving them insane because we're not supposed to go out anywhere. But focusing on all the negative doesn't solve a problem. So taking and recognizing, like being mindful and aware that you are focusing on something that is negative, and then making a conscious choice to focus on something else. So say you're, on Facebook and you're reading something that's super negative and it's making you really upset. It's making you really angry. It's making you really worried. You're worried, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my student loans? I mean, like all this stuff. And it's just a constant, like it'll just drag you down this never-ending spiral of negativity, and you just go down and down and down and down and down, and all this negative stuff starts to come up. And then it shifts from, how am I going to do this, to your brain telling you, you never prepare for anything, how could you be so stupid, how could you not see this coming? And then you start beating yourself up, and before you know it, you're in full-blown depression because you aren't focusing on the right things. So recognizing that you are seeing something that's negative, you're feeling something that's negative, and actually shifting your focus from something negative to something positive. So switch to a different Facebook page, go to a different Facebook feed, watch somebody else's Facebook Live. I mean, if you want some good, there's so much good, funny stuff out there. Watch my favorites. You cannot be angry or upset if you're laughing. So every time that you're starting to feel yourself become angry or upset, switch to something that makes you laugh. My favorite things to watch are people putting harnesses on cats. It's the most ridiculous thing, because most cats, if you don't have a cat, if you put a harness on a cat, they immediately fall over. I don't know why. It's hilarious. They literally just fall over. And you can see videos of people that put the harness on the cat falls over, they pick the cat up and just set it right, and the cat falls back over again. It's hilarious. And I've experienced this with my own cats. We've tried purchasing harnesses for them. And I've been very upset because they're not inexpensive. And they just don't work. So yeah, Jackson Galaxy, I don't know what in the world you're doing to these cats to put them on a harness and get them to walk, but I can't get it to work. So I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. But shifting your focus and watching something that will make you smile. Soul Pancake on YouTube. You can go on their YouTube channel and find tons of really great stuff. Juggling the Jenkins on Facebook, you can find her videos. Oh my God, her videos are hilarious. And like, for real, she's funny and she's got some really great stuff to share. So it's really interesting. There's, some people find things funny that I don't find funny, and I find things funny that other people, maybe you might look at, a cat falling down from a harness and, want to cry instead of laugh. I don't know, but find something that really makes you laugh and then switch the channel to that. Stop focusing on the negative. I'm not saying that you need to bury your head in the sand and forget about everything that's going on in the world. Absolutely not. You should not, absolutely not do that. But the problem is that this is going to get a hell of a lot worse before it gets better. I mean, that's just the sad reality of it. It's going to get a hell of a lot worse before it gets better. And in order to be able to cope with this, I mean, we've already, been told that we're going to have to do shelter in place until the end of April. I mean, it's only April 2nd. We've been doing this for like 3 weeks already. Michigan just announced that there's no school for the remainder of the year for kids. Everyone's scrambling, trying to figure out what that means. But one thing that it does mean is that a lot of people are going to be out of work for a really long time. And a lot of people are going to be really, really scared for a really long time because nobody knows when we're going to be able to go back to work. Nobody knows when all this is going to end. And nobody knows what the economy is going to look like when all this is over. So all we can do is all we can do. We can't worry about what is going to happen. We can't worry about whether, this is going to be good, that's going to be good. We can't focus on the negative. We need to focus on the positive. So, make a conscious effort to recognize that when you are feeling these feelings come up, the fear and the anxiety and the worry and the stress, when you feel your heart start to race, when you feel your blood pressure start to rise, when you feel like you just want to punch something because you're so angry, when you feel like you want to cry because you're so upset, when you feel like you want to reach for that bottle of alcohol or that bottle of pills or that joint because life is just so screwed up right now, you don't know how to deal with it. That's when you really need to shift your focus and switch your thoughts from negativity to positivity. There are tons and tons of resources available online for you to be able to, work on shifting your thoughts. Anything that I can do to help, please feel free to reach out to me. You can send me a message and I will answer. I'm here for you. I really want to help people because I understand how stressful it can be. Like I've been homeless. I've lost everything. Everything. I was living in my car and I get it. Like I didn't have a penny to my name. I didn't have a job. I had nothing, absolutely nothing. I was fortunate enough to have a friend whose boyfriend at the time worked at a really crappy car dealership, and he took in, no joke, a 1987 Ford Escort on trade, and he offered it to me for $600, and I had to beg, borrow, and almost steal in order to get the $600 to pay for the car, and then the money to get insurance and to put plates on it, and this was like in the 2000s. So this was a really old, janky car. And I lived in it. I lived in that car. Like everything I owned that I couldn't fit into storage was in that car. And then when I couldn't pay the rent on my storage unit because I lost my house, they sold my storage unit at auction. So I literally lost everything except for the clothes that I had and the few possessions that I had in my car. So I get it. Like I've been there, unfortunately, more than once. So when I understand how stressful it can be, how frustrating it can be, and how absolutely terrifying it can be. Thankfully, I don't have children. So at that time, I didn't have anybody but myself to worry about. But I feel for people who have families. I totally get it. So please lean on me as a resource. Find things online that are educational, find things online that are entertaining, that are funny, that will help you to cope with what's going on without resorting to anger and, being depressed and, um, turning to substances to help you cope with what's going on. So I'm really hopeful that you guys will take my advice and shift your thoughts to something positive. And I truly hope that you guys have a really great week. And next week, we're going to start talking about, I don't know what we're going to start talking about, but I really want to shift out of fear. So I will give some thought to what we're going to cover in the next month. And I really hope that you guys all take care of yourselves, you stay safe, and you stay healthy, and, enjoy your life. Because at the end of the day, if you're still alive, you have something really great in your life. Not everybody can say that. So if nothing else, every day that you wake up, just be grateful that you've been given another chance to have another wonderful day, to really do something to make a difference. So we will see you next week.